Okay.
So what I'm getting from what you're saying is that people are locking themselves in the prison. And the first step of scarcity, of working with scarcity, is to identify the prison, like really come in contact with what the prison is, how it wraps around my body. And then the archiarchy, like we couldn't create a new possibility for what the game world would be until we first touched the scarcity and then went to the edge of it. And so in some ways, it like maybe the prison becomes a tool for
Mm.
navigating to the next place because outside of the prison is something unknown.
Yes. Yes. So the map is needed to, because it's a so well-known place that it's there's an identification. And so having the map helps with then, okay, this is the prison, identifying the prison, and now I'm going to the edge, to something different, where I can source different possibilities. And it's really about going into the unknown. Like, I don't know what else is possible, because what I'm used to is that if I don't have money, I don't do something because I don't have the money, or I cannot do something, or this always happens with me. I can't, other people can and I can't. So these are all sentences of this prison. And
Yeah,
even the
yeah.
possibilities, there's a scarcity of possibilities.
Yeah.
So the possibility of possibilities doesn't even exist.
It's all being funneled towards the possibility of money.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the lack of. So in that place, money is the value that's on the center, and not the non-material value. So that's the shift. The shift is to that. So the survival strategy of scarcity has money on the core of the culture, and archiarchy as non-material value at the core. So things rotate around non-material value, but in this scarcity, things rotate around money. But here in archiarchy, the money is something that rotates around non-material value, not the other way around. And so it's the shift from having money as the center value to having non-material value as the core value of the culture that is being sourced, and move from here. So how does the bridge look like? So the first thing you said, Meredith, is this: identify the prison, right?
How is the prison different than an
Go.
aspect of the box? How is the prison part of the box? Because you're talking about it, and it really has this like boxed in. Is it like woven in? Is it like one of the brick, cornerstones of someone's, like, where does it live in the box? So that we're not just talking about this square you're inside, and we're saying all the same things as if we're trying to expand outside the box, but it's like, it's very specific. It's like, this is this one brick wall that is part of the box. Because it's one survival
strategy. How does it go for
strategy.
you?
It's a big one. Yeah, I keep seeing it as just like this one, like, kind of, like, I see it as like a brick wall or something like this. That's part of the box, and the box is made up of all, like, maybe the box also has, thick vines of some other survival strategy, but something like that. And also, I want to say this so that I don't forget, but when Sónia, when you were talking and you were talking about money coming first, it's like, this just came through, but like, what if money was not the thing that happened before people were allowed to come close to my non-material value and experience my non-material value? and that I just was really so trusting. What if, I mean, like, I would have to step out of a prison of scarcity to go like this. Come be with me. I'll be with you. I have this training. You're invited. And at the end of it, you get to choose. There's this sliding scale that I ask for. You know, this is how I'm, and it's like, then you pay at the end. Like, this is one possibility of it not being this like first, screen. It's always like, screenshot me your Wise transfer and then I'll give you the Zoom link. I mean, it still does have that. And even if we're saying it's not the center, it somehow is still put first. And that's very modern culture. You have to pay for the service before you get it. I don't know. This was just coming through. It was like, how do we get it out of the center if it's always the thing that comes first? And if people can't join unless they have it?
I have two things. The first is the fear, because there are gremlins. And I don't want to be a victim of a gremlin. I don't want to play that game. So I also see how I also see the importance of having this, okay, this exists, I'm delivering this is my non-material value, and there's this commitment. There's a commitment and integrity if you are joining, you're saying a yes to join this space. And yes, the money is attached to it, because still people give it a value. For example, I paid for this, so I will attend it. I will try and not miss a session because I paid for it. But then when there's the money conversation isn't there, oh, it's okay if I miss a session. And so still the money is at the center. The other thing that I had was when you said, when someone says, sees this offer and is joining the offer, the first thought is about the money. And then you went in a different direction and about sending the confirmation of the payment and all of that. But the other thing that I got was like, okay, what does really happen when you see an offering that to what you are connected to when checking your yes and your no? And how much,
yeah,
how much is money influencing that? How much is I need to do this because I want to get somewhere is influencing that? So let's just say that there's something being offered. For example, right now, the Gremlin transformation. I have a yes for that. I really want to do that. But I see at some point, there's this thing, there's money. And if I allow that to take more space, then what happens is that I start postponing it. I don't register, like as soon as I have the yes, I don't register for it, because there's this thing about money going on in the background, like white noise. So I think it's really about that website becoming money and this moving before you know how to. And what I'm getting is that people are stopping at the part that the money comes, and they don't move before they know how to. It's like that commitment, the be committed before you know how to.
So growing that muscle is actually a big part of working with the scarcity prison. Growing the muscle of moving before you know how to, and then also noticing, like even just when you brought up, notice what happens when you read an offer. How does each individual person, like I have my own way of going about it, right? I would see an offer and I can just put it on the table, I often will see the amount it costs and think like, that's so expensive. Like this, like that's like, why is it that much? You know, that'll be like my first kind of layer of, like, I really appreciate what you just brought about checking, an invitation to check how you check your yeses and nos, what's really going on. Because if there's like this scarcity prison is part of that, it's affecting me really being connected to all my bodies and like slowing down and really being with whether I'm a yes or a no. And the money was, and you said one other thing that connected to scarcity, and now I can't remember, but I'm glad we're recording this call. It was checking the price. Oh, I can't remember, but it was like, so I was already starting to be like, okay, so these are two kind of concrete.
And slow down, Beth. Go to the sensation. You have the sensation of what you wanted to say, even if you don't remember it. You have the energetic feeling. Go.
Yeah, it's this creation of the question would be like, what are the scarcity, like mini prisons that are influencing your yeses and your nos without you even being conscious of it?
What I'm hearing, Beth, is it's the part of building this muscle is the metacognitive awareness. And as I've been listening to each of you speak, I'm like, okay, how's this context? How's this context? And what I'm getting is we have some practices developing. And one of these practices is attuning to that awareness of what are these, what are the energetic blocks? What are the things you do to decrease possibility and bringing that metacognition in there?
Mm-hmm.
So,
yes.
what is it that you're being aware of when you say that? Can you say it again?
With whom are you talking with?
And
Okay.
Sónia, if you have something that comes too, yes.
Okay.
But it was like, okay, being aware of this. We say it again.
Yeah, I think I said like basically noticing the unconscious scarcity prisons that are impacting your nos and your yeses without you even being aware of it. So it's like with gremlin transformation, bringing it first to consciousness so that it's like a noticing starting to happen. Like even if I bring this question now with me as I'm scrolling through PM events, it's different. I've never brought that question with me as I go to look to see what I'm a yes and a no to. I'm just functioning like that's too expensive. Like I know how much money I have in my bank account. I know how much I think things are worth based on what, but based on, and that's probably one of my main, first levels of how I know and yes, different offerings. So I think that's where the awareness comes in, that I'm now would be moving through the world totally differently because I'd be bringing this question because I want to go check. There's got to be other prisons. It's not just that I don't have money or not have time or something. Those are like two obvious scarcities, time and money. And maybe they are the main ones, but I think there might be more micro things going on too.
So it isn't
these are
even really.
I think this is a shared scarcity, but there's so many. I mean, this thing about getting somewhere is a huge scarcity.
Oh, that was the one. Thank you. That was the other thing I couldn't.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think that because these are ones that each of like, and yes, I have it. I have the scarcity of money too, but are really alive for you that it's like blocking these. But there's so many of like what I should do. I have all this training, and so I should put it to use.
Everyone else is doing it. Don't want to miss out. Fear of missing out.
I don't want to miss out.
Jacqueline and I have a meeting today about that, a 1-hour meeting about fear of missing out.
Would you record it
Yes.
Yeah,
and
I
share
wanna do
it?
Yeah.
I was, while you were speaking, Beth, I was also thinking about myself. It's like I've been noticing some spaces that I have an impulse to join, and I'm holding back from joining. And I'm like, why am I doing this? And it's like there's this hierarchy of things I want to join that I think are more valuable for me than these other yeses that I'm having that seemingly to a part of me don't make sense because they will not add up to this image that I have of someone or something that I want to become. And what I'm discovering right now, because I'm doing this research with impulses and following impulses without self-doubt coming into play, is that there is no way of any part of me knowing why I have a yes for something. The only thing that I can tell is if the yes or the no are coming from the child ego state, the gremlin ego state, or the parent ego state, or my being. That's the only thing that I can develop this sense of where is it coming from. But then the purpose, I have no way to know that. I have no way to tell if I join a certain space what that will create. And the more I don't follow my impulses, the more I disconnect myself from the archetypal forces. And what I'm noticing is that I'm having this pull for certain spaces, and these impulses are coming from my being. And then this scarcity thing of either the money or the time or this thing, oh, this event is more important than this one. I'm cutting myself from the impulse that's coming from my being, that I have no way of knowing where that's leading me to, but it's coming from my being. And so, yeah, I don't know why I came here, but it came here.
It's like in the place where the scarcity is, the impulses can't be getting through.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
that's really like the filter. It's the thing that's being filtered is the impulse.
And then how are you sourcing and creating your game world if you're not aligned with the impulses, and then these impulses align you with the archetypal forces, echo your archetypal lineage, the bright principles? How are you even sourcing next culture? How are you sourcing archiarchy if there's this filter of yuckiness, of I don't have this, I miss this, this is better than that, all of these things? The same thing is being created, which is modern culture and patriarchy.
Yeah, I'm getting that it's just so much emotional fear involved with scarcity. Because I just had this whole image as you were speaking of, like, I mean, we could just live experimentally. I could say yes to everything and run out of money and get to zero and then figure it out. But people don't like, and I do. And actually I actually get down very low to zero. And I've tried that experiment in my life. So I have some fear and different ways that my scarcity plays out, but it's not that way because I've tried it. But it's like,
and what happens when you go to zero? What happens then?
I kind of like buckle down and start to source again somehow. I reach out to people. I go, can I cook for your event? There's it depends on the different time periods in my life. It's looked differently. I've gone deeply into credit card debt for the first time in my early 30s. That was one thing I tried. That didn't work. I crawled out of it by going and setting myself up, borrowing money so that I wouldn't get interest rates and paying that person back over time. Like, I've had to figure out a lot of different things over time. And I noticed, I can remember trying to get into a national park to camp and not having $35 in my bank account when it was like, I couldn't get in. And I was like, oh, wow. Okay, I'm really at zero right now, and I had committed to not using credit cards at this point. And I borrowed a little money so I could get to my next destination. And then I was like, what am I going to do about it? Like, who can I ask for, what can I offer or whatever. So, but a lot of those things were, they involve a certain kind of doing that I'm not doing now, like cooking for event, like that kind of more like manual labor, like I'll do anything, like so there's definitely been moments like that. But what I was getting was just like, that's not even, people are really scared to even get close to that. I mean, there's so much emotional fear about having nothing in that way.
So you have reached to that point where you can go to the zero and you're okay. But the way that you were sourcing money was still connected to modern culture of you doing and not being, not
Yes.
really to your non-material value. So what's the shift for you to perceive your non-material value as being valuable?
Mm-hmm.
And your non-material value holding you in such a way that no matter where you go, you source value because you are value.
Mm-hmm.
Can you get that sensation in your body? Like you are walking around and you have like this amazing scanning ability and energetic with the energetics, this switch thing going on. Also the creation that's coming through you. Is it connected? Do you have it connected or jacked in you in a way that is, I source value through this?
It's not like this big jack, but I feel like you're talking about exactly where I'm at, I'm at an edge about this. I'm at an edge about this. So it's like some of the wires have like the synapses have connected for sure. Some of the synapses have connected. And they have been for a while, because I also noticed that I don't only see the abundance as financial money. So it's like I land somewhere, my friends all want me to stay with them. They want to care for me in that way and give me a place. Like I have, so there's other ways too in which I feel taken care of, and I know that I'm solid because of and I think that's my non-material value. I think that they're like, oh yeah, come stay with us. No, come stay with us. So it's like I don't have a scarcity of places to go be with people, and this is a different kind of abundance, even if it's not money in the bank abundance. Yeah, but that's an edge for sure of like shifting to where that's jacked like that, and I just know. But when you talk about it, I can definitely taste into it. It's almost